Hello everyone and welcome back to Coach Craig's Sports. Today is Thursday, September 29th, and this is the MLB DFS video for today. So in today's video, we'll be doing a quick little recap of yesterday's picks, seeing how they turned out. Talking about my core plays for today, it is only a 5-game main slate overall. It's actually a pretty interesting slate because it's essentially just a late slate, plus the Brewer-Marlins game, which starts quite a bit earlier than all the other games. So hopefully we have the starting lineups for the later games as well at the time of lock. And then I'll be going over my top GPP stacks for today as well. At the time of this recording, my article is not yet up at webetats.com, but once that is available, I'll leave a link to that down in the comments below. But without further ado, we'll get started with a recap of yesterday's picks. At the pitcher position, went with Aaron Nola at $10,300. Got to 30 points, so he ended up being a push yesterday. He gave up 4 runs against the Cubs. Seems like the Cubs have been kind of that pesky team so far this season where looks good on paper versus them. You play the pitcher, and then they get 3-4 runs and kind of ruin your pitcher overall. But just kind of been some bad luck there, unfortunately. But I did say to play some Brandon Woodruff as well. Kind of build your lines the same, and then have some with Nola, some with Woodruff. Woodruff did get to 58 points, so he was the top overall pitcher on yesterday's slate. Then we had a few different pivots throughout the day just because we had a couple guys not end up playing that were in my core picks for yesterday. So we ended up on first baseman CJ Cron at $3,200. Got to 6.2 points, so he ended up being a push yesterday. And then we had Rafael Devers at $3,800, get to 12.2 points, so he was a hit. Not a bad play by any means. And then for our two guys decided to stick around for the day, we had Hunter Renfroe at $2,900, got to 9.5 points, so he was a hit. Could have been a little bit better, hoping for one of those home runs that he's been hitting as of late. Just did not get that yesterday. And then last but not least, we had Jock Peterson at $2,600. Got to 25.2 points, so he was a very, very good paydown option yesterday. So if you went with this core, you need a couple extra good hitters to cash yesterday. But if you had the Woodruff line where you got the extra 28 points, you had a pretty decent chance of cashing overall. But with that being said, we'll get moved over to the core picks for today. So we're going to start off at the pitcher position and going all the way up to Shohei Ohtani today. I expect him to be very, very popular versus the Oakland A's. You can also play Carlos Rodon. I don't mind John Gray today. Like, if you really, really want to get dirt cheap, you could play Ryan Feltner since he did have a decent start versus the Giants earlier this year, but I don't know if I'm going to go down that far today. It's going to be very much a stars and scrubs type of day for me overall, so I'm going to pay up for some hitters. I'm going to pay down because there's some pretty good value hitters today overall as well in terms of price tag. But going back to Ohtani real quick, he has $11,100, averaging just under 42 fantasy points per game on the season as a pitcher. Obviously, everything I just said there is very good. He's got 43 and 32 points versus Oakland so far this year. Ideally, you like to see him get a little bit more than that, but if you get the 43 points out of him once again today, there's still a chance that he is the top pitcher overall. And then we move down to third base with Brian Anderson. You can also play him in the outfield. He's $2,000. Goes against Eric Lauer, who is making his second start back from the IL today. And Brian Anderson is 4 for 8 with 1 home run versus him in his career. So there is some pretty decent upside there overall. Then we move down to shortstop with Trey Turner at $3,900. Goes against the San Diego Padres. Sean Manaea is pitching on the mound today, and he's been terrible versus this Dodgers team overall so far this season. So do like getting to quite a few Dodger bats. Trey Turner is 4 for 10 with 1 home run versus him in his career, so some pretty good upside there once again. Then the outfield, we move down to Mike Trout with $4,500, averaging just under 13 fantasy points per game on the season. Going against the Oakland A's, Cole Irvin is on the mound today, and Mike Trout is 2 for 2 versus him in his career. So definitely some good upside, as there always is with Mike Trout overall. And then last but not least, we have Chris Taylor at $2,000 even. Somehow he's averaging exactly 8 fantasy points per game on the season. Not been doing a whole heck of a lot lately, but he is 4 for 12 with 1 home run versus Sean Manaea. Very, very cheap paydown option. As I already mentioned before, it's going to be a stars and scrubs type of day for me. Whether or not you guys want to follow suit is kind of up to you. You could try to balance it out, but just the way the pricing and the slate looks overall, I think you want to pay up for some of the top hitters, but then pay down for some of these cheap hitters as well, because there's a lot of good values on today's slate overall. But with that being said, if you go with these 5 players that I do have listed here, I'll have $11,500 remaining, just under $2,900 per player. As I mentioned, you're going to have to find some values on today's slate. There's a bunch of them out there, so definitely a lot of different ways that you could approach the slate, whether you pay down a little bit from Ohtani, maybe you go to Carlos Rodon, save a couple dollars there. Maybe you go down from Mike Trout to Mookie Betts, save a couple dollars there, and then try to build a balanced build from there. That's definitely something you can do as well. But as I already mentioned a few times, stars and scrubs type of build day for me overall. But with that being said, we'll get moved over to my top GPP stacks for today. As I already mentioned, my article is not yet up over at webetats.com, but once that is available, I'll leave a link to that down in the comments below. So in terms of the top stacks that I do have for today, we got the Los Angeles Angels going against Cole Irvin of the Oakland A's. Irvin's not the greatest pitcher in the world. The Angels aren't always the greatest offense in the world, but there is some interesting bats there today, whether it's Mike Trout, Taylor Ward. Obviously, Ohtani would be one if he wasn't already pitching, and then you have Luis Rengifo. I'm really not sure how to pronounce his last name, but he's been heading towards the top of the order. He's a pretty good value play as well today. Then we have the Dodgers going against Sean Manaea. As I mentioned already, Sean Manaea has been terrible versus this Dodgers team. 4 starts this year, all under 10 points, so they have hit him very well. Do not be surprised if the Dodgers are the most popular stack once again today. And then last but not least, I have the Texas Rangers going against Marco Gonzalez. Some of these hitters do have very good history versus him in the past, and he's kind of that fly ball pitcher. Maybe with the warmer weather and everything, you get a couple more home runs out of this Texas Rangers team overall. But with that being said, these are my core 5 picks as well as top GPP stacks for today, September 29th. As always, if you have any questions related to MLB DFS, be sure to leave them down in the comments below and I'll get back to you as quickly as possible. Also, be sure to let me know your favorite play on tonight's slate, whether it's someone from my core 5 picks, whether it's someone from my top GPP stacks. Probably pretty good odds there are, but if there's another player you guys think I missed, definitely interested in hearing what you guys have to say. But with that being said, if you are new to my channel, please consider subscribing. Definitely would appreciate it. Helps to build the community that we're trying to build here at Coach Craig Sports, which is one that's truly for you, the viewers, helping you with your DFS. Primarily MLB and NFL DFS at this point in time, but once we get back around to the NBA regular season, I'll be covering that as well. And then with that being said, if you are a newer current subscriber who's yet to do so, also be sure to hit that notification bell down below. It's going to let you know every single time I post up a new video. Like I've been saying, I post up daily MLB DFS videos just like this. And then I'll be having my NFL DFS core pick video coming out tomorrow, so definitely be sure to look out for that if you're into NFL DFS as well. Going to try to do a live stream for the Thursday night football game, single game showdown slate once again tonight, probably around 6 or 6:30 Central Time. So if you guys are interested in that, definitely be sure to check that out as well. But with that being said, that's all I have for today's video. Hopefully you all enjoyed. And then last but not least, special little shout out to each and every one of you watching today's video. I truly do appreciate you taking the time out of your day to watch this video. Definitely means a lot to me, and I hope each and every one of you has a great rest of your day.